We're in the parks for our weekly Disneyland Construction update. The scrim is down on the Fantasmic stage, walls are up in Toontown, and we've got some interesting things to report on from downtown Disney and Tianas Palace. But first, let's check in on the Adventureland Treehouse. Nothing to report on the music room, not a lot to report on the Daughters room either. I've seen no advancement there, no additional theming. Everything is about where it was. They're actually still finishing some parts of those structures, of those rooms. But what we've been looking at lately is the location, the status of the Suns room. The last few weeks that I've reported, I don't see it. It's not there. It's still not there. Some had said, you need to look a little closer. You can see some of the definition of the room. Something is being done on the flooring area, which is true. And I'm not sure if what you're seeing here now was there in our previous look last week. Hopefully I've got, I can do a side-by-side here. I've definitely got footage, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I still don't see any kind of roof. And surely they're going to want to cover the Suns room, right? Because I recall that the leopard, that's our animal of the week, the leopard, his room was not covered. Was it? I can't remember now. Anyway, certainly they're going to want to cover his room. And the concept art does suggest that it will be covered or should be covered. So we're standing by waiting for that. Meanwhile, we got a few more looks down at the bottom through the knotholes. I didn't have Grandpa with me today, so I tried to get some shots with the phone. It's okay. It doesn't have quite the range of motion that Grandpa does, but we got some pretty good looks. You can see here that they're building, or there's some concrete being placed. And it looks like a step. Although I feel like what you're looking at here is actually the riverbed, because you can see in the forward part of your frame, if not here in a future shot that we got, that the gray granite rockwork is on the outside of that step, that concrete step. Plus, the concrete step is not in the least bit themed. So it's possible that could wind up being an inner barrier, an inner definition of the riverbed, but more likely it is inside the proper riverbed, which actually, by the way, is still, again, a good sign that the riverbed is returning, at least in that section. As long as that gray walkwork right there remains, then we're going to have something like that out front. Took a view from the Indiana Jones side, a long view, and there again you can see the concrete step there that they have installed, and they're busy here. They're busy building something, lots of markers, etc., all over the place, getting ready to, they're getting ready to do something there very, very soon. All in all, we're just advanced a little bit further. Hi guys. We always get video bummed when I shoot from this angle back at the treehouse. Anyway, incremental increases, incremental improvements this week over last. We're still probably months away, I think, just based on the ground floor work that needs to be done alone. I mean, I tried my best to get various angles, looking from all different angles of the treehouse, down on the ground, from the left, from the right, over there by, the Riverbell Terrace, that kind of thing. I looked everywhere for the Suns room, and it is just not there. There's a bottom, there's a floor, but there's no roof. Tianas Palace is next, where things look about as we left them on our last visit. No work yet being done in the seating area, still being used as a staging area. Mint Julep Bar wood is still in its scraped condition, ready for new paint. Same for the bandstand. But we did get these photos from the Fresh Baked Street team. In this first photo, you can see a tree and planter that has survived the remodel so far. That's the tree on the far left over there, right in front of the entrance to the French Market. And you can see that entrance to the French Market right there in the middle of the frame, in the background. Its wood appears to have been stripped as well, so we're going to repaint that, obviously. You can also see that there's a red brick wall that has been spared so far, but the planter that it contained has not been spared. Now, this was one area that I had speculated early on that might be a candidate for more seating. The job specs that I saw called for an expansion of the seating area, if I recall. And I'd gather that that's exactly what is happening here. Here's another look. And if we're somehow able to get more photos like these in the future, I'd be on the lookout for rebar crisscrossing that dirt area. But But I'm almost certain that that is what's happening here. They're getting ready to pour concrete there instead of a planter, creating more seating. Taking a look at this clip shot just before they close the French market, there's a fair chance also that they'll do something similar to the brick enclosed planter on the right. And this would be a little trickier though, I think, due to the bandstand, which that can't be moved, I should think. Stay tuned, it's getting good. Hopefully we'll be able to see something of what's happening here at Tianas Palace. Let's catch up on the Fantasmic stage over here on Tom Sawyer's Island. We're on the Mark Twain getting a bird's eye view of that stage. The day after we did our construction update last week, they took that scrim down. I was going on about how it doesn't look like it's getting very far and it could be a while, and then they take the scrim down the next day. Now, that doesn't mean that necessarily that Fantasmic is coming back right away, but it is a good sign. It's a positive sign. It's going to be sooner rather than later, just with respect to the scrim coming down. It means that whatever it is that they were trying to repair, both above deck or above grade and below grade, have been repaired. So, I should say, at least it's to a point where they can start working on it without interfering with the show. It was initially thought that it might reopen on May 14th. Right now, the best news we have so far is May 28th for the return of a B mode for Fantasmic. That is per, I think it was an update disseminated to cast members. Cast who work Fantasmic were being told that it's possibly May 28th, and that got leaked out. For example, the website, it doesn't show any sort of return date at all for Fantasmic. As far into the future as we can see, no dates at all. So that May 28th date could be a real thing, but it could be just a situation where they're calling back cast to begin rehearsing, training, getting show prep, that kind of thing. I thought the same thing about Indiana Jones. Now, when we heard that date for Indiana Jones, I thought that might be the same thing. It turns out it was that exact date that it did actually open. So it could be that they are opening on the 28th and they just haven't updated the website. That's reasonable. Or it could be that's the date they call Fantasmic cast back to start prep, rehearsals, or that kind of thing. But otherwise, as you look down at that stage, it looks like nothing happened. They've completely resurfaced that area with, I guess, like some sort of epoxy coat. So that area's been resurfaced. You can see that's Mickey's trapdoor right there. That's in the video of the fire. You can see them lowering Mickey very quietly while Murphy was burning. It was a very fascinating sight. But that was the trapdoor to which he was lowered, and that's part of the show. And in the larger square there is Maleficent's trapdoor. But yeah, it looks like everything is just like it was. Let's go to Toontown, see what's new. And there you go, guys. I guess that confirms our prediction from about a month or so ago. We said look for construction walls around Centennial Park. There are some issues with the surface, not the grass per se, but underneath. I think it is. Well, they're probably going to replace the grass and the roots while they're doing this. But there are a few issues going on here that need to be addressed. So they finally did put up the construction walls. I don't think. I'm gonna go see if we can see from over there. Wow, I'm actually quite shocked. We can see from here. They just put these walls up, so nothing has been removed as of yet. So we'll come back on the regular basis and see what happens with the grass here and the roots for the tree roots. But right there where the tree is the culprit. A situation developed there, I think, where the ground was becoming too loose and it was getting too soft. So they're gonna refortify that area. That's why they put the benches around there. So look for this, all of this to be replaced, I think. I don't know how long that'll take, but that's what's going to happen. Donald Duck's Pond is still unfunctional, although I wasn't expecting it to be this week. Word that I have is it's going to be near to the summer, probably sometime in June. We're at the Matterhorn, where I just walked by a few minutes ago, and I could hear this. That's the monorail. I could hear the sounds of ride ops doing vehicle testing. I could hear over the speakers. I kind of tried to hang around for a bit to see if I could catch a vehicle. I didn't get anything on video, but I definitely saw a couple of toboggans go by. They're not running very many, just a few, once every maybe 10 or 15 minutes, if that. I've tried I've stood here, you guys. I'm such a nerd for this that I stood here for 10 minutes waiting for a single Matterhorn toboggan to go by. Alas, no luck. But it is in the background there, just in case. If you guys see a one go by, let me know. In any case, you can see quite a few casts on the ground there on the tracks. There's, engineers, Imagineer types, it looks like, working on the tracks down there, but nothing visible, again, on the mountain itself. Literally, as soon as I stopped recording that bit, another one went by. I'm so upset. I mean, it's nothing. It has nothing to do with anything, but that's like the third time I've done that. As soon as I stopped recording, as soon as I stopped trying, one goes by. While I head through downtown Disney on my way to Uba Bar and the Jazz Kitchen to see how things are going there, let's talk about what we saw on the monorail of the dirt lot, which is no longer dirt. We can no longer qualify this as just a dirt lot. There's foundation. Let's go. Yes. They've set up a foundation in that middle section there. Lots of concrete. Well, you can see the cinder blocks they're setting up, I should say. They're getting ready to pour the concrete. Well, actually, they're getting ready to pour the concrete in the area in front of it as well. Now, I'm not sure. This is a new thing for me in looking at construction sites. What those four, setups are. They look like they're going to, build something rather substantial, and those are supports, I would imagine. I don't recall seeing those in another site, although I'm sure they're coming. The part that's tripping me out a little bit is I'm trying to reconcile the concept art with what we're seeing in the dirt lot. And the concept art shows the retail buildings to be kind of parallel to the monorail track. The monorail track that you're seeing in the concept art, we could plot that as being that turn around the Lego store and as it's heading into the station. So I have a feeling it's askew in a way because it's not lining up with the way we're seeing these foundations and these, how they're arranging what they're going to build now. Got to be something with the skew, but I would imagine that area there is the retail, the larger of the area, and the forward area in the bottom of the screen is for the bandstand, the guitar pick bandstand. I think we're going to get some answers on this very soon because they are moving briskly now at this point. Well, I should say it's becoming more visible now. Now, I may have it completely backwards, actually, as I look at this again. Where the monorail track runs parallel with the work site in both the concept art and live at the dirt lot, the smaller area with the rebar where they're getting ready to pour concrete, that's the retail section, not the bandstand. The larger section in the middle with the four posts, that's the bandstand and the grass and the second guitar pick covered area and the potential retail building. And I think this is, for me personally anyway, it's an issue where they place the camera in the concept art that's messing me up. I think the camera is near the Adventure Tower of the Disneyland Hotel, maybe up and over the Sorcerer's Hat. So which puts the Disneyland Hotel out of frame to the right. So that's where you got to be looking at this from. Changes how you view the concept art. So stay tuned for more from Fresh Baked. Meanwhile, we have arrived at the Uba Bar, where we can't really see anything from the ground. All we can see there is that earth mover right about in the center of the workspace. The latest overhead image that we have from Ballast Point is from a few days ago, so I'm not sure how that aligns with what's happening presently, but yeah, they've dug everything up. Meanwhile, at home in Wonderground, that's about as we left things last week. Some kind of rail has been set up there on the window, but otherwise we can see nothing else behind the glass as to what's going on there. Meanwhile, over at the Uba Bar, I'm going to keep calling it Uba until it's not, but again, I don't have Grandpa with me, so I can't get a good look inside behind what's going on behind the glass, although it does look like the glass is removed. But it looks to be about the same as it was with the naked eye. They have stripped the walls inside that space. So they're actually, they're redoing everything, the interiors, it looks like. Everything, matter of fact, I think it's the same over here. You can see kind of where they've stripped the ceiling, I believe. So they're scrubbing the heck out of this, out of the Uba Bar. Or I should say out of Catal. I said Uba Bar, but I meant Catal. We'll just walk right on next door to Beignets Express. They had put in a new sign. Beignets Express, that wasn't there before. It looks like they're nearing opening. They still have the temporary setup here, which was not here in our previous visit, but they are now selling beignets again in this temporary setup. This is where they will wind up being very soon. But again, they got the new sign, it's lit and everything. It actually, the sign looks okay. I just wish they had more. Let's go see if there's anything more on that floor. Nope, still the same. They're not serving guests down here yet, so it's hard to tell, you know, this is the final stage. But it looks exactly as it did last week. No change inside in the center area there to the left of the stairs. They're not serving guests there yet either. You know, I don't know anything about construction, really, to be honest. I really don't. I don't know anything about the order of operations. But it seems odd to me that they installed the Jazz Kitchen sign, the orange one right there, when they clearly have not finished painting what's behind it. There's you know, spackle, and you know they've covered, you know, cracks and things like that. It looks like they need to finish that, but the areas around the sign, are they gonna are they working around that? I'm not sure how that works. So mystery walls are still just kind of chilling right here. They haven't grown. They grew a little bit, and then they just stay like this. Nothing's happening. I cannot believe this. There's still no gift shop yet. What are they waiting for? All right, we finally made it to DCA. Let's see what's going on at San Francisco, aka the Pacific Wharf. I'm sure everyone will be excited to hear that we have learned what the purpose is of that scaffolding around that pipe. We couldn't figure it out in our last visit, and then a fan of the show reminded us, or showed us the concept art. There's gonna be a big fish posted on top of that, or around that pipe. One of those like paper lantern type deals, I think. It looks like it anyway. Look for a fish. They have now put walls up in front of the Bodine entrance. The walls were down last visit. We could see the Japanese characters on the walls there. Those are now behind the walls, just like, you know, the characters over here down the walkway towards Pacific Wharf. Otherwise, no updates in the Pacific Wharf proper. Everything else inside the area looks about as it should be, or as it was before. We're staying tuned. Look for more of the small touches. Nothing major. Small touches that are going to add characters, art, that kind of thing, but nothing, no physical changes. And finally, I wonder if they're waiting until the last minute, until summer, before they install the top part there on the bridge into San Francisco. Because they finished the painting there a while back, and I would imagine it's prefab. The topper, they just got to install it. Maybe they want to wait until June for the grand opening. That's like the finishing touch for, I said June, anytime this summer. It could be July, August, or something like that, but maybe they're waiting until then. And that is our construction update from the Disneyland Resort this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh baked.